Hello everyone. We're here at Prospect Park, Brooklyn. This is kind of a really, really lovely place. Jane, why don't you show the trees now? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Venus and Adonis says you will be mine. We're reading Venus and Adonis, which is Shakespeare's first kind of famous long poem. And I'm going to admit to you that I've never read this before in my life. But Jane, my girlfriend, is taping us, and I feel like I have my Venus here, and I feel like I have my Adonis here, maybe in this beautiful day. So the moment is right. We're going to start with the inscription, the dedication at the front of the poem. To the Right Honourable Henry Wriothesley, Earl of Southampton and Baron of Titchfield. Right Honourable, I know not how I shall offend in dedicating my unpolished lines to your lordship, nor how the world will censure me for choosing so strong a prop to support so weak a burden. Only if your honour seem but pleased, I count myself highly praised, and vow to take advantage of all idle hours, till I have honoured you with some graver labour. But if the first heir of my invention prove deformed, I shall be sorry I had so noble a godfather, and never after ears so barren a land, for fear it yield me still so bad a harvest. I leave it to your honourable survey, and your honour to your heart's content, which I wish may always answer your own wish, and the world's hopeful expectation. Your honours in all duty, William Shakespeare. I believe this is historic, of course not in the ardent version, but this is one of the few things I believe we have from Shakespeare's own hand. Wish it were more revealing. Venus and Adonis. Even as the sun, with purple-colored face, hath ta'en his last leave of the weeping morn, rose-cheeked Adonis hied him to the chase. Hunting he loved, but love he laughed to scorn. Sick-thoughted Venus makes a main unto him, and like a bold-faced suitor gins to woo him. Thrice fairer than myself, thus she began, the field's chief flower, sweet above compare, stained to all nymphs, more lovely than a man, more white and red than doves or roses are. Nature that made thee with herself at strife, saith that the world hath ending with thy life. Vouchsafe, thou wonder, to alight thy steed, and rein his proud head to the saddle-bow. If thou wilt deign this favour, for thy meed 1,000 honey secrets shalt thou know. Here come, and sit, where never serpent hisses, and being set, I'll smother thee with kisses. And yet not cloy thy lips with loathed satiety, but rather famish them amid their plenty, making them red and pale with fresh variety. 10 kisses short as one long as 20. A summer's day will seem an hour but short, being wasted in such time beguiling sport. With this, she seizeth on his sweating palm, the precedent of pith and livelihood, and trembling in her passion calls it balm, earth's sovereign salve to do a goddess good. Being so enraged, the desire doth lend her force, courageously to pluck him from his horse. Over one arm the lusty courser's rein, under her other was the tender boy, who blushed and pouted in a dull disdain, with leaden appetite, unapt to toy. She red and hot as coals of glowing fire, he red for shame, but frosty in desire. The studded bridle on a ragged bough, nimbly she fastens, oh, how quick is love. The steed is stalled up, and even now, to tie the rider, she begins to prove. Backward she pusheth him, as she would be thrust, and govern him in strength, though not in love. So soon was she along, as he was down, each leaning on their elbows and their hips. Now doth she stroke his cheek, now doth he frown, and begins to chide, but soon she stops his lips. And kissing speaks with lustful language broken, if thou wilt chide, thy lips shall never open. he burns with bashful shame. She with her tears doth quench the maiden burning of his cheeks. Then with her windy sighs and golden hairs, to fan and blow them dry, again she seeks. He saith she is immodest, blames her miss. What follows more, she murders with a kiss. Even as an empty eagle, sharp by fast, tires with her beak on feathers, flesh, and bone, shaking her wings, devouring all in haste, till either gorge be stuffed or prey be gone, even so she kissed his brow, his cheek, his chin, and where she ends, she doth anew begin. Forced to content, but never to obey, panting he lies and breatheth in her face. She feedeth on the steam as on a prey, and calls it heavenly moisture, air of grace. Wishing her cheeks were gardens full of flowers, so they were dewed with such distilling showers. Look how a bird lies tangled in a net. So fastened in her arms, Adonis lies. Pure shame and odd resistance made him fret, which bred more beauty in his angry eyes. Rain added to a river that is rank, perforce will force it overflow the bank. Still she entreats, and prettily entreats, for to a pretty ear she tunes her tale. Still is he sullen, still he lowers and frets, twixt crimson shade and anger ashy pale. Being red, she loves him best, and being white, her best is bettered with a more delight. Look how she cannot choose but love, and by her fair immortal hand she swears, from his soft bosom never to remove, till he take truce with her contending tears, which long have rained, making her cheeks all wet, and one sweet kiss shall pay this countless debt. Upon this promise did he raise his chin, like a dive dapper peering through a wave, who being looked on ducks as quickly in, so offers he to give what she did crave. But when her lips were ready for his pay, he winks and turns his lips another way. Never did passenger in summer's heat more thirst for drink than she for this good turn. Her help she sees, but help she cannot get. She bathes in water, yet her fire must burn. Oh, pity, again she cried, flint-hearted boy, 'tis but a kiss I beg, why art thou coy? I have been wooed, as I entreat thee now, even by the stern and direful god of war, whose sinewy neck in battle ne'er did bow, who conquers where he comes in every jar. Yet hath he been my captive and my slave, and begged for that which thou unasked shalt have. Over my altars hath he hung his lance, his battered shield, his uncontrolled crest, and for my sake hath learned to sport and dance, to toy, to want, dally, smile, and jest, scorning his churlish drum and ensign red, making my arms his field, my tent his bed. Thus he that overruled, I overswayed, leading him prisoner in a red rose chain. Strong-tempered steel his stronger strength obeyed, yet was he servile to my coy disdain. Oh, be not proud, nor brag not of thy might, for mastering her that foiled the god of fight. Touch but my lips with those fair lips of thine, though mine be not so fair, yet are they red. The kiss shall thine own as well as mine. Kiss shall be thine own as well as mine. What seest thou in the ground? Hold up thy head. Look in mine eyeballs. There thy beauty lies. Then why not lips on lips, since eyes in eyes? Art thou ashamed to kiss? Well, then wink again, and I will wink. So shall the day seem night. Love keeps his revels where there are but twain. Be bold to play, our sport is not in sight. These blue-veined violets whereon we lean never can blab, nor know not what we need. The tender spring upon thy tempting lip shows thee unripe, yet mayst thou well be tasted. Make use of time. Let not advantage slip. Beauty within itself should not be wasted. Fair flowers that are not gathered in their prime rot and consume themselves a little time. Were I hard-favored, foul, or wrinkled old, ill-nurtured, crooked, churlish, harsh in voice, o'erworn, despised, rheumatic and cold, thick-sighted, barren, lean, and lacking juice, then mightst thou pause, and then I were not for thee. But having no defect, why dost abhor me? Thou canst not see one wrinkle in my breast. Mine eyes are gray and bright and quick in turning. My beauty as the spring doth yearly grow. My flesh is soft and plump, my marrow burning. My smooth, moist hand, were it with thy hand felt, would in thy palm dissolve or seem to melt. Bid me discourse. I will enchant thy ear, or like a fairy trip upon the green, or like a nymph with long disheveled hair dance on the sands and yet no footing see. Love is a spirit all compact fire, not gross to sink but light, and will aspire. Witness this primrose bank whereon I lie. These forceless flowers, like sturdy trees, support me. Two strengthless doves will draw me through the sky, from morn till night, even where I list to sport. Is love so light, sweet boy? And may it be that thou should think it heavy unto thee. Is thine own heart to thine own face affected? Can thy right hand seize upon the left, then woo thyself, be of thyself rejected, steal thine own freedom, and complain on theft? Narcissus so himself forsook, and died to kiss his shadow in the brook. Torches are made to light, jewels to wear, dainties to taste, fresh beauty to their use, herbs for their smell, and sappy plants to bear. Things growing to themselves are growth's abuse. Seeds spring from seeds, and beauty breedeth beauty. Thou wast begot. To get it is thy duty. Upon the earth's increase, why shouldst thou feed, unless the earth with thy increase be fed? By law of nature, thou art bound to breed, that thine may live when thou thyself art dead. And so in spite of death thou dost survive, in that thy likeness still is left alive. For this the lovesick queen, but... For this the lovesick queen began to sweat. For where they lay, the shadow had forsook them, and Titan, tired in the midday heat, with burning eye did hotly overlook them. Is the point. Wishing Adonis had his team to guide, so he were like him, and by Venus' side. And now Adonis, with a lazy sprite, and with a heavy dark disliking eye, his lowering brows o'erwhelming his fair sight, like misty vapors when they blot the sky, souring his cheeks, cries, "Fie! No more of love! The sun doth burn my face, I must remove." "Ay me," quoth Venus, "yon, so unkind. What bad excuses makest thou to be gone? I'll sigh celestial breath, whose gentle wind shall cool the heat of this descending sun. I'll make a shadow for thee of my hair. If they burn too, I'll quench them with my tears. The sun that shines from heaven shines but warm, and lo, I lie between that sun and thee. The heat I have from thence doth little harm. Thine eye darts forth the fire that burneth me, and were I not immortal, life were done between this heavenly and earthly sun. Art thou obdurate, flinty, hard as steel? Nay, more than flint, for stone at rain relented. Art thou a woman's son, and canst not feel what 'tis to love, how want of love tormenteth? Oh, had thy mother borne so hard a mind, she had not brought forth thee, but died unkind. What am I, that thou shouldst contemn me this? Or what great danger dwells upon my suit? What were thy lips the worse for one poor kiss? Speak fair, but speak fair words, or else be mute. Give me one kiss, I'll give it thee again, and one for interest, if thou wilt have twain. Fine, lifeless picture, cold and senseless stone, well-painted idol, image dull and dead, statue contenting, but the eye alone, thing like a man, but of no woman bred. Thou art no man, though of a man's complexion, for men will kiss even by their own direction. This said, impatience chokes her pleading tongue, and swelling passion doth provoke a pause. Red cheeks and fiery eyes blaze forth her wrong. Being judge in love, she cannot right her cause. And now she weeps, and now she fain would speak, and now her sobs do her intendments break. Sometimes she shakes her head, and this, then his hand. Now gazeth she on him, now on the ground. Sometimes her arms enfold him like a band. She would, he will not, in her arms be bound. And when from thence he struggles to be gone, she locks her lily fingers one in one. Fondling, she said, since I have hemmed thee here within the circuit of this ivory pale, I'll be a park, and thou shalt be my deer. Feed where thou wilt, on mountain or in dale, graze on my lips, and if those hills be dry, stray lower where the pleasant fountains lie. Oh my. Within this limit is relief enough. Sweet bottom grass and high delightful plain, round rising hillocks, breaks obscure and rough, to shelter thee from tempest and from rain. Then be my dear, since I am such a park. No dog shall rouse thee, though 1,000 bark. At this Adonis smiles as in disdain. Then in each cheek appears a pretty dimple. Love made those hollows. If himself were slain, he might be buried in a tomb so simple. For knowing well, if there he came to lie, why there love lived, and there he could not die. These lovely caves, these round enchanting pits, opened their mouths to swallow Venus' liking. Being mad before, how doth she now for wits? Struck dead at first, what needs second striking? Poor queen of love, in thine own law forlorn, to love a cheek that smiles at thee with scorn. Now which way shall she turn? What shall she say? Her words are done, her woes the more increasing. The time is spent, her object will away, and from her twinning arms doth urge releasing. Pity, she cries, some favor, some remorse. Away he springs, and hasteth to his horse. But lo, from forth a copse that neighbors by, a breeding jennet, lusty, young, and proud, Adonis' trampling courser doth espy, and forth she rushes, snorts, and neighs aloud. The strong-necked steed, being tied unto a tree, breaketh his rein, and to her straight goes he. Imperilously he leaps, he neighs, he bounds, and now his woven girths he breaks asunder. The bearing earth with his hard hoof he wounds. Those hollow womb resounds like heaven's thunder. The iron bit he crusheth between his teeth, controlling what he was controlled with. His ears uppricked, his braided hanging mane upon his compassed crest now stand on end. His nostrils drink the air, and forth again, as from a furnace vapors doth he send. His eye, which scornfully glisters like fire, shows his hot courage and his high desire. Sometimes he trots, as if he tolls the steps with gentle majesty and modest pride. Anon he rears upright, curvets, and leaps, as who should say, Lo, thus my strength is tried, and this I do to captivate the eye of the fair breeder that is standing by. What recketh he his rider's angry stir, his flattering holla, or stand, I say? What cares he now for curb or pricking spur, for rich caparisons or trappings gay? He sees his love, And nothing else he sees, for nothing else with his proud sight agrees. Look, when a painter would surpass the life in lining out a well-proportioned steed, his art with nature's workmanship and strife, as if the dead the living should exceed. So did this horse excel a common one, in shape, in courage, color, pace, and bone. Round-hoofed, short-jointed, fetlocks shag and long, broad breast, full eye, smart, small head and nostril wide, high crest, short ears, straight legs, and passing strong. Thin mane, thick tail, broad buttock, tender hide. Look, what a horse should have he did not lack, save a prouder rider on so proud a back. Sometime he scuds far off, and there he stares. Anon he starts at stirring of a feather. To bid the wind abase he now prepares, and where he run or fly they know not whether. For through his mane and tail the high wind sings, fanning the hairs who wave like feathered wings. He looks upon his love and neighs unto her. She answers him as if she knew his mind, being proud, as females are, to see him woo her. She puts on outward strangeness, seems unkind, spurns at his love and scorns the heat he feels, beating his kind embracements with her heels. Then like a melancholy malcontent, he veils his tail that, like a falling plume, cools shadow to his melting buttock lent. He stamps and bites the poor flies in his fume. His love, perceiving how he was enraged, grew kinder, and his fury was assuaged. His testy master goeth about to take him, when lo, the unbacked breeder, full of fear, jealous of catching, swiftly doth forsake him. With her the horse, and left Adonis there. As they were mad, unto the wood they hie them, outstripping crows that strive to overfly them. All swollen with chafing, boy, don't we know what that means. Down Adonis sits, banning his boisterous and unruly beast. And now the happy season once more fits, that love-sick love by pleading may be blessed. For lovers say the heart hath treble wrong, when it is barred the aidance of the tongue. Lovers say that. An oven that is stopped or river stayed burneth more hotly, swelleth with more rage. So of concealed sorrow may be said. So of concealed sorrow may be said. Free vent of words love fire doth assuage. But when the heart's attorney once is mute, the client breaks, as desperate in his suit. Shakespeare knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? I mean, this is real. This, like, happens to me all the time. He sees her coming and begins to glow, even as a dying coal revives with wind, and with his bonnet hides his angry brow, looks on the dull earth with disturbed mind, taking no notice that she is so nigh, for all askance he holds her in his eye. Oh, what a sight it was, wistly to view, how she came stealing to the wayward boy, to note the fighting conflict of her hue, how white and red each other did destroy. But now her cheek was pale, and by it flashed forth fire as lightning from the sky. Now was she just before him as he sat, and like a lowly lover down she kneels, with one fair hand she heaveth up his hat, her other tender hand his fair cheek feels. His tenderer cheek receives her soft hand's print, as apt as new-fallen snow takes any dint. Oh, what a war of looks was then between them, her eyes petitioners to his eyes suing. His eyes saw her eyes as they had not seen them. Her eye wooed still, his eyes disdained the wooing. Oh my. And all this dumb play had his acts made plain, with tears, which chorus-like her eyes did rain. Full gently now she takes him by the hand, a lily prisoned in a jail of snow, or ivory in an alabaster band, so white a friend and girts so white a foe. This beauteous combat, willful and unwilling, showed like two silver doves that sit a-billing. Once more the engine of her thoughts began. O fairest mover on this mortal round, would thou wert as I am, and I a man. My heart as whole as thine, thy heart my wound. For one sweet look thy help I would assure thee, though nothing but my body's bane would cure thee. Give me my hand, saith he. Why dost thou feel it? Give me my heart, saith she, and thou shalt have it. Oh, give it me, lest thy hard heart do steal it, and being steeled, soft sighs can never grate it. Then love's deep groans I never shall regard, because Adonis' heart hath made mine heart. For shame, he cries, let go and let me go. My day's delight is past, my horse is gone, and 'tis your fault I am bereft him so. I pray you hence and leave me here alone. For all my mind, my thought, my busy care is how to get my palfrey from the mare. Thus she replies, thy palfrey, as he should, welcomes the warm approach of sweet desire. Affection is a coal that must be cooled, else suffered it will set the heart on fire. The sea hath bounds, but deep desire hath none. Therefore no marvel though thy horse be gone. How like a jade he stood, tied to the tree, servilely mastered with a leathern rein. But when he saw his love, his youth's fair fee, he held such petty bondage in disdain, throwing the base thong from his bending crest, and franchising his mouth, his back, his breast. Who sees his true love in her naked bed, teaching the sheets a whiter hue than white. But when his glutton eye so full hath fed, his other agents aim at like delight. Who is so faint that dares not be so bold to touch the fire, the weather being cold? Let me excuse thy courser, gentle boy, and learn of him, I heartily beseech thee, to take advantage on presented joy. Though I were dumb, yet his proceedings teach thee. O learn to love, the lesson is but plain, and once made perfect, never lost again. I know not love, quoth he, nor will not know it, unless it be a bore, and then I chase it. 'Tis much to borrow, and I will not owe it. My love to love is love, but to disgrace it. For I have heard it is a life in death, that laughs and weeps, and all but with a breath. Who wears a garment shapeless and unfinished? Who plucks the bud before one leaf put forth? If springing things be any jot diminished, they wither in their prime, prove nothing worth. The colt that's backed and burdened, being young, loseth his pride, and never waxeth strong. You hurt my hand with ringing, let us part, and leave this idle theme, this bootless chat. Remove your siege from my unyielding heart, to love's alarms that will not ope the gate. Dismiss your vows, your feigned tears, your flattery, for where a heart is hard, they make no battery. What, canst thou talk? Quoth she. Hast thou a tongue? Or wouldst thou hadst not, or I had no hearing? Thy mermaid's voice hath done me double wrong. I had my load before, now pressed with bearing. Melodious discord, heavenly tune, harsh sounding, ears drop sweet music, and hearts deep sore wounding. Had I no eyes but ears, my ears would love that inward beauty and invisible. Or were I deaf, thy outward parts would move, each part in me that were but sensible. Though neither eyes nor ears to hear nor see, yet should I be in love by touching thee. Say that the sense of feeling were bereft me, and that I could not see, nor hear, nor touch, and nothing but the very smell were left me. Yet would my love to thee be still as much. For from the stillatory of thy face excelling comes breath perfumed that breedeth love by smelling. But oh, what banquet wert thou to the taste, being nurse and feeder of the other four? Would they not wish the feast might ever last, and bid suspicion double lock the door? Lest jealousy, that sour unwelcome guest, should by his stealing in disturb the feast. Once more the ruby-colored portal opened, which to his speech did honey passage yield. Like a red morn that ever yet betokened wrack to the seaman, tempest to the field, sorrow to shepherds, woe unto the birds, gusts and foul flaws to herdmen and to herds. This ill presage advisedly she marketh, even as the wind is hushed before it raineth, or as the wolf doth grin before he barketh, or as the berry breaks before it staineth, or like the deadly bullet of a gun, his meaning struck her ere his words begun. and at his look she flatly falleth down. For looks kill love, and love by looks reviveth. A smile she recurs the wounding of a frown, but blessed bankrupt that by loss so thriveth. The silly boy, believing she is dead, claps her pale cheek, till clapping makes it red. Wake up, wake up! And all amazed, break off his late intent, for sharply he did think to reprehend her, which cunning love did wittily prevent. Fair fall the wit that can so well defend her. For on the grass she lies as she were slain. 'Tis his breath breatheth life in her again. They're doing CPR now. He wrings her nose, he strikes her on the cheeks. He bends her fingers, holds her pulses hard. He chafes her lips, 1,000 ways he seeks to mend the hurt that his unkindness marred. He kisses her, and she by her good will never rise, so he will kiss her still. She's a smart woman.
Just try to figure out. I asked Hans and he thought he could do it, but now I'm not sure.
I think we should call Hans and ask if he can do it. I'm not sure he can. Let's stop there.